Canada Japan, your man a contract to supply street lights. Ebe sinde, the supplying of those street lights no. Ebe sinde ye huye. Our warehouse ECG post gum. A man yere any or no contract say on supply street lights no. O to me supplier na. Post ne guo no. Ya bese Canada Japan chere baby okoto ni nyina free ye. Crime na mu ni nyina wo ECG. From the board na omu take that decision na mu wi abu cables, mo lights, mo bibia no. Annoh Dompreh was on the board. Afenyo Markin was on the board. And Habib Idrisu, the minority chief whip, he was also on the board. Post ni cables na eyira no eye wemu fire. Ta post na mu na eye aduejire no. Eye Annoh Dompreh dia or a lot of them Kennedy Muobi, Afenyo Markin Muobi, they have stolen everything from the container. It is Habib who is the minority chief whip, Afenyo Markin who is also the minority whip, and then Annoh Dompreh who is also the minority chief whip. Onne Afenyo Markin, who is now the minority leader. These three people are the ones that the ECG cause shares our problem. You see the story. You have a ECG story, no? The reason why at the NPP they don't want us to talk about ECG. Containers ayira ECG equipment on say na say videos be air around manfo hu say ECG cables yakọ dampen wo insawam aduagiri Annoh Dompreh mameka bibi nkyerɛ mo Annoh Dompreh saa nyoma na muhu no ne constituency nya one dia tie saa ECG equipment cables poles now before me dem be call ECG story no me pese me bie mo adwunim na mo hu bibi first. Now, muntie Canada Japan time okọ PZ ko kasa muntie ne ye pa. Oka ECG nsem bi. Ye wi abebuta question na afi ma kire mo ECG no. Omo bọ mo kro no. The reason why MPP for one person beka ECG no ho asem. The reason why Afenyo Markin has stayed away from the ECG matter. Anything Afenyo Markin gina parliament can say, ye nyina enya ba ko ne solve ECG problem. No. Omo wi amo no. Omo wi Ghana no MPP for. Na mo me back kakra na yentie Canada Japan okọ PZ no oka bibi fa ECG ensam ho pulse ho me wi amebie wani wade bi ho.
Suppose na mo pen any cables wires am de begusu a very simple ye ni abam enso metimi ama Ministry of Energy as supply mo sa cables in speed light. Mekwa kohwe me warehouse ne ma hwe se post no me obi guwa as for street light in here my friend me setting some me street light e de me ko ne ma kohwe warehouse so even ago se me hwe Samihwe nese Ministry of Energy ebe cha mi anka sameto post no e de abram enti se sikana me ba no se ni amachire magneti e wa abrantie wo minsom gaji ye diskane be ye adwuma meno eto e hye me bottom se si a temptation e be ba no
now Kennedy call PZ no o kan sembi I say, suppose any cables na mo pa. Any the easy, any din cry, easy job. In fact, now buy ni power. Then so obet me alpha ways be my Minister of Energy no at the poles any cables ni be abromo. Nempo se minister ne kraka se oh nya onwanga sa our warehouse our poles any cables gum. In fact, I say wa check it. Or you very sure say street light there obebreguo. Canada Japan, remember, ne lawyer ne Afenyo Markin. Afenyo Markin, on a board chair of ECG. Now, Canada Japan, in the past, your man a contract to supply electricity lights. Street lights. Ever since there, we are yet to see the full complement of Nyoma supply. Ever since there, Canada Japan Jisika, on a company ni Jisika. Ebe sinde the supplying of those street lights no ebesin de yehu ye. Now an MP who is not the Minister of Energy comes to tell you, say, our warehouse are ECG posts gum, our warehouse are street lights gum, and that he will be going to bring those poles and street lights. Mumusa Kennedy Japan say, your man yere any or no contract say on supply street lights no, or to me supplier na. Dabi. Yenya street lights now on supply no ene ohwa na. In fact, the poles now say a good warehouse. Any street lights in a good warehouse no. Ye busan said, okotoya for dien ehina onya no. Our ECG contract be na, yes, our millions of ECG contractor may they be show very soon. You see, these people, they have played on your conscience and done everything to indirectly taken from you without you people knowing. Also, and the onwankasa general catcher must say, poles, street lights, any sign your manyomano, or will be. Now the question is, yenim ni krom, asem dumpim, light could be no. That means the street lights ne guano, poles ne guano. Ya be second in Japan, chere baby okoto ni nyina free ye. Ya pesa ochre baby a onya sa light ni nyina. Now sa video na mo hu na mama ko hu cables any poles e won nsawe mu no Annoh Dompreh na me be kire the connection Annoh Dompreh work with this stolen containers any the role I will play in these stolen containers any ECG materials on sa video we it's making it's on circulation all social media. Watch this video very well. Sign your mama copy no Annoh Dompreh constituency in the war.
No, not be a buy a hun ye intina. Anopɛ deɛ. Ɛsɛ intine ba. Ne yɛ bɛma mo hwɛ ne yie. Hwɛ ne yie. Because
Omogana.
Omogana. Mbɛka kyerɛ sɛ o papa mbɔ bra. Papa mbɔ bra o. Ɛnso ane papa. Do say an ekoso. Yeah? Enti ha area mo nipa kwante ya. Nipa anti anti o ma da sa na ma we nyina koso o ma hu no mo report to na nkofo anteki action.
So be camping all around.
The pair on the other side in the soup. And it go the gano. Really good one.
Expo. This time 2024. It's a fresh crowd.
Fresh crowd. Fresh crowd.
And yes, I started blue with people will pass out. But if you say you'll be camping.
Oh yeah.
Also to me found some funny machine never found. And I will be good.
So Annoh Dompreh constituency post we Annoh Dompreh there. Now me be show how we are ECG, cables, street lights, poles. Remember, Peter Mbewube kachire say, abayin MPP abayin Markin Agyapong, a street light contract, 100 million. Or supply, one supply, he kept it. Mbewube kachire said they gave Kennedy Agyapong, ECG Markin Agyapong, 100 million contracts, street lights. It and Kennedy Bejina PZ. No kachire mo say, our street lights bebreguo, our poles bebregua. They know what they are telling you. Because ECG street light belongs to the government of Ghana. And the Kennedy Agyapong contractor, the man, no, was he able to supply all the poles and street lights? No. And internet oye bold, okojina PZ. Me was street lights go. In fact, my friend, a warehouse, a gum, Metsebia Bremo. Because ECG, they were running it as friends. Now, I'm going to show the link. At the Kudientia, you see these people, the MPP are quiet on the ECG matter. And Afenyo Afenyo Markin, Kasongo 99, until say, what can ECG assembly who be him? He is guilty. Investigations, they know some of them. ECG are the way. The time of movie investigations, so the MPP will not have a front in parliament. The NPP in parliament, they will not have a front. That is the reason why the NPP minority in parliament, they have moved away from the ECG issue. Argentina NPP and your press conference kakraka about the ECG. Say NDC is accusing them of something. Why do you think they have stayed away from the ECG matter? Argentina NPP fonka ECG no. Argentina, they have stayed away from the conversation. It is because they know that their main men are the ones who committed the crime. Now, let's go into the books. You see this. And the strategy they put together, and interest was study Annoh Dompreh on can ECG no wasem biem. On can wasem kra. But Annoh Dompreh, do you know say he was on the board of ECG? Do you know? The minority chief whip Habib, do you know he was also on the board of ECG? The minority leader, Afenyo Markin, these people. Come out. Do you know these three people who are leading the MPP today in Ghana? The minority. All these three people were on the board of ECG. Yeah. Crime now moving in our ECG. From the board now, I'm taking that decision now, cables. More lights, more bibiano. These three people who are leading the MPP today in parliament, all these three people were on the board of ECG. Time my issue when you know Annoh Dompreh was on the board, Afenyo Markin was on the board, and Habib Idrisu, the minority chief whip, he was also on the board. It is a minority in parliament. If they have refused to speak on this ECG matter, then it means they are front. They know the three of them, they can all end up in jail. Now let's go back and show how they did the plan and why they are quiet. These are dangerous people. You never listen to MPP or anybody speaking for MPP. Because you see, party is a disease. Now let's go back. You're starting free. You see, in 2022, Chenye, Napo, in 2022, Napo was the energy minister. Make sure be a plan free. In 2022, Napo was the energy minister. The deputy energy minister, ne Agyapong Mesa. And the second deputy, near friend Williams Owusu Edu. Now, when you go to ECG board, Tamana Napo energy minister now, it was Kelly Gajepo. The MD of ECG was Dubik Mahama. And then Annoh Dompreh was a board member of ECG in 2022. Did you know? Yeah. Annoh Dompreh today is the minority leader, deputy minority leader in parliament for the NPP. He is deputy to Afenyo Markin. So in 2022, Adekudi I want to say Annoh Dompreh ECG no one omunya press conference. The front of the NPP, they have moved away from that conversation is because they were the ones who orchestrated the crime. In 2022, no, now Annoh Dompreh was sitting on the board of ECG. All the decisions that were being taken, Annoh Dompreh was part of it. And you do not think, say, NPP, Afenyo Markin quickly coming out to tell you, say, oh, you know, Ghanaians, let us all solve the ECG problem as a nationalistic thing. Or boy, they are the ones who did the damage. They are the ones who connived and teamed up our ECG boss and ECG to destroy a ECG. Into Napo, Energy Minister 2022, Agyapong Mesa, Deputy Energy Minister, and Mr. Edu, Second Deputy. Now, but ECG boss na Keligajepo, na yawo Dubik Mahama as the MD of ECG, and Annoh Dompreh. Now, here. Now, when you come to 2023, something happened. In 2023, changes were made. Remember, this is the same group. And the Omokacho said, Dumusaba, Monso Kaniano, Mamen Chamo. Sa video na muko uno, eye in Sawadu Ejino. Sanyo mani nina Annoh Dompreh. He stole it from ECG. Because he was on the board of ECG. Yeah. 2023. In the year 2023, Nanapo and energy minister. And na omu change Agyapong Mesa. And omude obi a friend Herbert Krapper ebe share as deputy. Remember, 2022, Agyapong Mesa was the deputy to Napo. Omuba 2023 no, and omu change Agyapong Mesa and omude Krapper ebe share and they maintained the second deputy minister, Edu, as energy ministry. In Napo State, they changed Agyapong Mesa and the Krapper, Herbert Krapper Besheho, and omu maintaining second deputy energy minister. Now, over ECG in 2023, did anything happen? In 2023, Keligajepo was still there. Herbert Dubik Mahama was still there as the MD. Annoh Dompreh in 2023 was still a member of the ECG board. Or a criminal guy. And engineers only say ECG as some wakembi. That is why they have moved. That is why they don't want that conversation to go on. That is why today you don't see them having press conferences to be demanding ECG containers na irano because posts ni cables na irano a women fire. And you see, it's so interesting. Say, it is the leadership of the minority today. They were the people who were sitting on the board of ECG. Now, when Agyapong was taken out, Ayade Herbert Krapper, something also happened. In 2024, Herbert Krapper, he was acting as the board chair. March 2024, Herbert Krapper na obey a deputy to Napono. He became the acting board chair of ECG. Inti the same time now oya deputy to Napono, he became the acting board chair of ECG. If we say that Keligajepo in March 2024 had resigned. Inti they brought Herbert Krapper from the ministry to be the acting board chair of ECG board. In 2024 March, now Annoh Dompreh was still on the board of ECG. Now Dubik Mahama was still in post, was still at post because March 2024, now Dubik Mahama resigning yet. Now why not resigning? Keligajepo. Into Omo Movie Krapper, who was the deputy energy minister, they made him the acting board chair of ECG. Into Sausha. Changes now, Bano, Krapper or top, the Krapper or down. He was acting as board chair and also the deputy minister in 2024 March. Team. Krapper be a board chair acting when Keligajepo resigned as the board chair of ECG. It is still, Annoh Dompreh is constant from 2022, 2023, 2024. Annoh Dompreh was on the board of ECG. Into all the decisions that were being taken, Annoh Dompreh was sitting in there. Napo was in there. Dubik Mahama was in there. Now Krapa abe some substitution be which is not permanent. Now Ekufuado would need a board chair for ECG because Agyapong has resigned. Krapa is a deputy energy minister. He's acting as the board chair of ECG. And the MPP4 had to make some changes because they needed their cartels still to control ECG. So what did they do? This was in March 2024. So that time Napo MBF running mate to Edian Abozege. Napo was still the substantive energy minister. Don't get it wrong. March Napo Dahu is substantive energy minister. Now this is what happened. Make sure be a problem ni free. And into the MPP, they are not speaking about the ECG issue, no, because on front are criminals. They will all go to jail. Investigations are still ongoing. That is why they are mute. Now, I'm sure idea. Now, in November, you see, in November 2024, Satana Napo Eko Wakakoye running mate ama dieng, ama eye dieng, ama eye MPP, ama Baumia. Inti Napo left as the energy minister. Now, what they did was that they brought Krapa back to become the substantive energy minister. And the second deputy minister, the deputy. Now, when it comes to the ECG boss, they moved Afenyo Markin to become the ECG board chair. And then this man called Kobna Ajiman ECG MD, because November, not Dubik Mahama so resigning. Agyapong echo March. Dubik Mahama so echo close to elections, September thereabout. They needed a new MD for ECG. Omdi Afenyo Markin Ebesheho as the board chair of ECG. They brought another person to replace Dubik Mahama. And what happens? They brought the deputy chief whip. Time na omo parliament, omo power no. Na acquire friend Habib Idrisu. Not or your majority chief whip. Not or your third to Afenyo Markin. They brought that guy to be on the board of ECG. Technically, Annoh Dompreh has been on ECG board for about 3 years. Now, you change Agyapong resigning. Krapa Ako as a substantive minister because Napoko running mate. And the Afenyo Markin Abeshaw. Now you ask, say, why na shem finfino? Dubik Mahama Soko into the wine about Kwabena. Now, Kwamena. Now, share baby a trick in all. The reason why you are not seeing Annoh Dompreh here and say, Afenyo Markin was the board chair of the road fund. Now, what they did was that they moved Annoh Dompreh from the ECG board to go and take over at the road fund, and they brought Afenyo Markin from the road fund to be the board chair of ECG. Now, you see the trick. So, Annoh Dompreh for about 3 years has been on the board of ECG. Now, they still needed their campaign in the front, one of them to come and handle ECG board. They had to take Annoh Dompreh to substitute Afenyo Markin from the road fund board for Afenyo Markin to come here as a substantive board chair of ECG. Annoh Dompreh left around November 20. He left before the elections to go ahead the road fund. Anything I won't say Habib Abeshaw. So follow what they did. It was a simple chess they were playing with you. The NPP, as we speak today, now let me show you this. Obi Obeka say, there are some people who have doubt about these people. Now you see, Annoh Dompreh joins ECG board July 30th, 2021. And I almost swear Annoh Dompreh in as a board member of ECG. Ntebia, Ojin sa sama ye kano, ye kan dia hye Annoh Dompreh kon. No. Sa post na mu na aduejire no. Annoh Dompreh dia. Or a lot of them, Kennedy Muobi, Afenyo Markin Muobi, they have stolen everything from the container. Sir, go back to look at what actually happened now. Sir Habib and Afenyo Markin, they all came into the ECG or joined the ECG board in July 2024. Sanko for me and say we are only the MPP or parliament, they are the ones who destroyed ECG. These three criminals. Into ECG problem na yeka na nkofobia dina MPP form person mekasa oma dino. It is Habib who is the minority chief whip, Afenyo Markin who is also the minority whip, and then Annoh Dompreh who is also the minority chief whip. One Afenyo Markin, who is now the minority leader. These three people are the ones that the ECG cause shares our problem. That is why ECG container theft in the buy, they were saying, oh, wait there, a national issue. We should all come together and solve it. The Ben out is Annoh Dompreh aka ECG asem no bi. Waka ho asem. Have you heard him speak on it? Have you ever heard this Habib guy speak on the ECG container theft? Afenyo Markin Ebeka Chiram say, oh, guys, let us all come together as a people. No. Videos na muhu no. In some Kennedy kano, these people are the people who use containers in our free ports. Almost setting up a company. Okay? This is when Habib Idrisu was basically me chiramu evidence no. Me they are not Dompreh the chiramu. Okay. Habib was sworn in. Habib Dienini by Napo. Habib and Afenyo Markin were sworn in by Napo, the energy minister, to go sit on the ECG board in July 2024. So the MPP you are seeing right now, front, leadership, they are criminals. They are the corporates. ECG container theft now, that is why the NPP leadership, they have refused to speak on it. Investigations, they know that some of them will go to jail. And they don't even want to do press conference. Their communicators are not speaking on it. Social media, they don't want to speak on these things because the leadership may say NDC person will break MPP. I mean, good party no. Afenyo Markin is still begging behind the scenes. Afenyo Markin is begging. Habib, Annoh Dompreh, Afenyo Markin. These three criminals, these guys. Now, let me show you also on ECG website. They published it. Now, when you read ECG Ankasa website, what they wrote there, Mamena one kind. So if you saw about Mr. Afenyo Markin succeeded Mr. Krapa, who has been appointed as Minister of State at the Ministry of Energy. Mr. Krapa's elevation to his ministerial role was approved by Parliament after his nomination by President Akufo-Addo. Previously, Mr. Krapa served as the Deputy Minister for Energy. Before his new appointment, Mr. Afenyo Markin chaired the Ghana Road Fund. With his transition to the ECG board, Majority Chief Whip Annoh Dompreh will assume the role of board chairman of the Ghana Road Fund. Consequently, Mr. Dompreh will step down from his position on the ECG board, a role that will now be taken over by Deputy Majority Whip in Parliament, Habib Idrisu. This is on the website of ECG. I did not publish this. Inti, when you take your time and analyze the air now, the reason why the NPP as a political party are not speaking, the leadership of the NPP are not speaking on the ECG theft na air no sa post na mbrante no hu no any cables na enane no Afenyo Markin Annoh Dompreh Habib Idrisu. They are the ones, these three people, these are the three criminals who want you to believe, say, oh, you know something, ECG, these are the people who did the crime. The MPP, they are despicable. Makacha must say, when you would say no in stadium, JJ Rollins to catch them Ghana for Sanko for you, for anytime you say, oh my nom social media, did my time, did my hammer, time did the end this year. Me say, Tiana day, young Janian could the MPP, Chiana. Yanko to about my MPP, then a yenye. They are substituting the leadership at ECG board. Inti, so study ECG problem no 2022 and Annoh Dompreh start here. Odidi one Afenyo, remember Afenyo Markin or a Kennedy Agyapong lawyer. Kennedy lawyer ni Afenyo Markin. Kennedy nya 100 million contract from ECG. Remember Annoh Dompreh, those times a majority chief whip no, he was on the board. So he influenced Kennedy Agyapong enya sa contract no. Remember Kennedy Agyapong lawyer Afenyo Markin or a minority leader became the board chair. Do you know the contract Kennedy got at ECG when Afenyo Markin became the board chair? I will show you. The latter part of Afenyo Markin and MPP government. Do you know the contract Afenyo Markin the market Agyapong or ECG? Kene Japan no nyo biao. Mami ka bibi nchiremo. You people have no idea, eh? Kene Japan. Time na Kufuor free office no. Na Kufuor bind the Kene Japan ka 23 million Ghana. 23 million Ghana. Aya John Mahama de Markin Japan be Kennedy Japan. Mushen be a mumbusa no. And it's na me hu no say a despicable human being. Kennedy Japan. Kufuor time mumbusa no. Contract also nya in the first contract 23 million Ghana. That is 20 bunkam year no. Time Kufuor so mo ntua Kennedy Japan sa sika no. But it was a contractor Kufuor mama Kennedy ye. Now when power changed at Tamils Bayano, it was John Mahama as the vice president. And a Kennedy Japan then documents Betchero must say he has actually done some work for Kufuor. And that legitimately, why Jumano? That was the time na Kennedy Japan about politics. Every single day, Kennedy Japan was going to the vice president office showing his documents, say, if Mahama Dems don't help pay legitimate job he has done, Kennedy Japan was going to go to jail because not the bank's car. You people have no idea. That guy is a despicable thief. Or you need to be on kaya die. Eti Kennedy Japan betina TV to say, Yanshi Mahama, Yanku Mahama, or Yakwasiana Kennedy, no me time. I saw Nimi Nyansa. Kufuor now the Kennedy bank politics, mina, ombe Yesikano. They did not pay Kennedy. John Mahama and the leader here catch and say, we have gone through your contract. It looks like legitimately. You were given this legit contract. You supply the things and that you have to be paid. John Mahama and then making sure the right thing is done. No illegality. Kufuor himself did not pay Kennedy. But John Mahama saw to it say, a Ghanaian has supplied electricity equipment to Ghana government. And that he deserves to be paid because I'm a foreigner. So John Mahama and the lady Kennedy and making sure say he has gone through the process. Atamils looked at it. They made sure say everything is legitimate. Do you know the things we know? There are so many things we don't tell you people. In this say, don't ever think about the MPP. MPP, they don't care about anybody. It is what they will get. It is what they will get today. There are people who kill and laugh about it. They have nothing like sympathy or empathy. They don't have it, that thing. I don't hate Obi or MPP, but I keep telling people, say, that party, the leadership, Sanko Fowe are not people to be trusted. But sometimes, because we try to let Ghanaians understand from the education we give them. And the Kennedy in Ghana said, yeah, he's a changed man. Me say, Mumbusa Kennedy Japan same way. Okasa me boa, I'll quit this job. Mumbusa na same way. So okasa me boa, I'll quit this job. Kennedy Japan ultimate jina baby ankasa me boa. John Mahama made Kennedy Japan who he is today. He didn't have a dime. John Mahama made Kennedy who he is today. He was just oyo hieni ofra brocheba no niska. Kufuor mamode ba oba kurabe politics oko eye asen ho omoko chiche bu command seat no. Kennedy did not have a dime. Onisika ye de business Kennedy Japan. John Mahama mo and making sure that our contract now Kufuor and Kufuor no our contract was secure. They paid him his due because he had done the contract. And no man Kennedy best starting years ka. Also in ska way. Also average no 3 jobs. A day don't make it $2,000. Now just average this guy is a liar. He had nothing. Or you're just ungrateful. According to Metna TV, you say Yanko John Mahama. John Mahama gave you crumbs to eat. John Mahama on the top pan auto form and I don't get my fire sabwa. John Mahama did that for you. There's so many things you Ghanaians don't see. You don't know. Say a banner bekano chronic chema. Ayana Montia say it is not personal. We want Ghanaians to understand, say the NPP as a political party are not supposed to come close to power again. Now, Yanko Enim, but don't send me anything. Now you have an idea of ECG. What they have done. And the ECG conversation, you do mukania. Monka say MPP form and some way, Mumusa say, Intinamo ECG board so. And in some way, remember, Napo and their head you now. Napo was the energy minister. He basically did that a year substitutions near the they knew what they were doing. And then Napo never was a $2 million worth of condensate. Ayra. Condensate, you know, or say evaporate yako. Napo. $2 million worth of condensate. Ayra. Yeti krom ha. Kwasi ampe ne hwene se fon no ene nam Ghana kan kwasi asem aden yama ne be president aden tia so your this year now your this year mu fie udi hini wo busuan fie o so your this year wo krom onya this year o Ghana eba amemu a eba governance a MPP mumuni what is governance ahenie na moya ade yen so hini wei yen kokoma hini wei yen ko defend your hini wei eno na ye modwuma na eba oman chichire a you people have no idea about governance. Ahini chichire and I'll give it to you. Yanko sumo hini wei yanko you hini wei aye yanko dada hini wei yanko you be and I'll give it to you. You are good at chieftaincy nonsense. But when it comes to governance, you people have no idea about governance. And then they be a person motia siena na mu jimi mo ho mum MPP for ni bi mu jimi mo ho. Se mo be se ahini ne to so aba mo ma yehu ne amfa constitution no ne ento ahemfo so aba so Ghana. If that is what you people want to do, bring it up. But when it comes to the holistic development and building of this nation, the NPP has no knowledge about building a nation. These are tribal bigots enshrined in their foolishness who think, say, we as Ghanaians, we need to consider baby obu free and sana ye bumai. And yes, sana di bumai. We are not going to allow that again. And that does not mean obi mu ana ombu obusia ana ombu hene ohene bia ni Ghana to no so aba. So I don't give a heck about ohene. What I give a heck about is the constitution and the person we as Ghanaians democratically have voted for to lead us to govern this nation. That is what I care about. I don't give a shit about ohene bia or Ghana because ohene na wudi no enye ye nyina ye to aba ma e webusuafo de siwu. So whatever you get unyama obusuafo unyama Ghana. It is a Ghana mine kurama wadwuma se di na so your hine na pese obedi ajai because you are not there to work for Ghana. At the end of the day, Ghana does not pay you. In the so your hine wa Ghana now your hine man kam gurugu o your hine wa bikroma anwona wukrom o your hine wa infantimemu asantimemu na o mine ma wadwuma na so wonya you have the right to stop aden because enya onkwa na obeye dwuma Ghana you can sit home for people who want to work. That is how it works. Binti obi ankotwa ne be ma meka se yesrew ohini we yama wadwuma into so onya it is your right because we busuafo no musi ohini no omo nsi ohini se kodi asem e wa bontene di ufi asem and if you think say ufi asem no na betumi abo akekere wo man sit there and deal with it obiansha obia enya force in Ghana. And these people, everybody should get this in their head. Ghana problems bebre ebi mo ha yaka ho asem eko aba yaka ho asem eko aba nothing has changed. Ghana problems bebre reoccurring problems yaka ho asem nde ochina na asaba yaka ho asem nde ochina na asaba. So there's nothing new that we have not seen under the sun. People are making us think, say, and the problem that was there yesterday, today, some extraordinary something can change. No, we need to, as we move forward, try and solve our problems. Into Ghana's solution does not lie in anybody's hand. It does not lie in any individual's hand. It does not lie in any clan's hand. Ghana's problems lies in our hands to solve. It is a only say problem, no. Sit side, another Ghanaian will take over. That is how you build this nation. Nobody's entitled. President na yeyi ne kurampo no at a point Otumiko say wagina home wabre or ko leave. Now I ento so aba. What is your problem? You can choose not to do whatever you want to do. President na yato so aba na ye the taxes to ano at a point Otumiko leave. Otumija man to so wabre or ko gina home. Now why ento so aba. So I don't see why anyone should be worried. Say President Afenyo Markin ofra wo ne se be di dwuma bi na wo hwe na se sa dwuma no mfaso ni so a jai sa wo gi sa dwuma no na mfiri wakoma mu a wo na wo ha wo ho na se wankasa wo ye president na koa. So if you think say president ma wo dwuma bi se kodi na se wo ye Ghana ni na edwuma na wo kodi no wankasa emwa wo eni wakoma mu a, tell the president that is not my responsibility. Especially when you are not the only person in Ghana who can do that. It is right to do that. That is how it works. Nobody's entitled. Ghana's problem cannot be solved by one person. Problems are echo Ghana home. Like Edum, in Suashoto, in Tokwesi. It has been going on and on and on. And yani atima de dan utim. Yani akan nendra yani ani ebe kan nende. So what is the difference? Nothing is going to change. We have to forge forward. We need to find solutions to our problems. And if you're Ghanaian and you are willing to help Ghana, you need to join the masses to help solve our problems. But so I will say, be a problem no, and ya obet me a problem no, why you be paying too much? Ghana president how? Ghana for how? Miracle Ghana for mama jume bi na min to me ya menye. The US government mama jume bi na min to me ya. I will tell them min to me nye. So every Ghanaian has the right to say ejuma way Mr. Mo min to me nye. Especially when you are not paid. Ejuma yen tia okade o pre won akoya eden. Stop it. I'll be back. You're still watching. With all due respect, extended version. Gigim.
The NPP cannot be underestimated. You know it, I know it. They've been in existence for a long time and have been changing their names up till this day. The nature of who they are. Listen. Munjir. The nature of who they are, what they are, where they've come from, is something they are happy with. And they will be there for a long time. Let's not mimic their behavior. Let us reach into the principles and the values that emerged out of the circumstances that gave birth to us.
And if we're still live on Loud Silence TV, my name is Kevin Taylor. It's exactly 6 p.m. US East Coast is definitely 10:06 in Ghana. Thank you very much for staying. In some bebreo asem papa bebreo good things ho abane ye nyoma e wo so many Ghanaians munnim di abane ye enti na de bia na me ba ha na mabedwudwam ama Ghana fo hu edwuma pa NDC abane ye me say NDC abane ye bibia e de mfa so obre Ghana fo na se wo so o mpese wo hu bejima tenefie as simple as that. So ye MPP ni na se NDC abane nde introduce a policy na introduce policy ebeboa Ghana for amanfo benye adwuma ye na se wo so ya MPP ni to nya tenefie. In fact, yam penipa bebre kura ya pese NDC for nko anya adwuma. It is also the MPP ni o the PZ o the mampon out o the sebi o ye this year NDC for the program aba me the mewie school mitifie menye tenefie enkofo no mo ye NDC for no ye befa o adwuma. It we dem sremo mo am ye MPP for no NDC for no e de adwuma bebre ba. Samo hwe na se moni nje ho aban no mo mpa sebio onye American Muslim untumi nka njem so unwi preko so num preko nkwan mesraw se unwi preko a men num preko nkwan se John Muhammad ye o ye no weni nso se NDC aban nyoma mo ye no weni nso se omo de adwuma ba men pribi tenefie na twan 2020 78